Hello, this is a brief introduction on how to use the female custom base mesh. First, let's load up the model by going to the Load tool and select the model. Once the model loads up, you can drag it on the canvas and hit either T on your keyboard or edit in the palette. By hitting Shift F, you can see that the model is broken up into separate polygroups for easy isolation. If you hold Ctrl Shift and left click on the polygroup, you can isolate individual parts of the model. This makes it easier to work on separate body parts. The model also comes with a set of teeth, which are also high poly. And the tongue. Now let's go back to our model. First, let's subdivide the model to its highest subdivision level, which is level 6. You can do so by either repeatedly hitting D on your keyboard, or you can go to the geometry palette and move this slider all the way to the right. Now let's open up the Layers palette. The Layer palette consists of a total of 9 layers. There are 3 layers for the face, there are 3 layers for the body, and 3 layers for the pose. The face layers contain 3 different racial backgrounds, which are Asian, Black, and Caucasian. The body layers contain 3 different body types, which are Muscular, Overweight, and Skinny. And finally, the pose layers contain 3 adjustments which you can do to the pose. You can put the arms straight, you can put the arms down, and you can put the legs together. Now let's go over each layer separately. You can adjust the facial features by turning one face layer at a time. Or you can combine different facial features together. Keep in mind that this indicator here, each layer has their own indicator, that the sum of these indicators should not add up to more than 1. So if I want to combine these, for example, I can put the Asian to 0.3. Let's say the black will be 0.5. And the Caucasian will be 0.2. They can slightly exceed, but normally the total of 1 should be okay. If you combine the facial features and you see that the eyebrow placeholder is not conforming to the model, like you see here, I have combined 0.7 of Caucasian and 0.3 of black, and you see that the eyebrow is slightly inside the model. You can go to the Subtool menu and select the eyebrow. The eyebrow has its own layers palette, which can be adjusted accordingly. So I should also type in 0.7 here for the Caucasian and 0.3 in the black, and the eyebrow will conform to the face. Now let's go over the body layers. Here you can adjust the type of the body that the character may have. By default, it's an average body type. But by clicking on each separate layer, you can specify the body type. So for example, there's a muscular, then there's slightly overweight, and slender, skinny body type. Just like the face layers, same principle applies to the body layers. You can either turn on each layer individually or you can combine them. But again, the total indicator of combined layers should not exceed 1. Otherwise, the model may start looking weird. So I can type in, let's say, 0.5 for the skinny. Let's go 0.3 for the overweight. And 0.2 for the muscular. Once again, you can slightly exceed these numbers, but on average, like a total sum of 1 should apply to the model. Lastly, let's take a look at the pose layers section. There are 3 layers which you can combine together, depending on how you want the model to appear. By default, the arms are slightly bent and apart. You can straighten the arms, you can put the arms down by their sides, and you can put the legs together. In conclusion, once you're happy with the adjustments that you made, you can continue sculpting the model based on your preference. You have 2 choices on how to approach this. One approach is to create a new layer by going to the Layers palette and clicking this button here. And you can continue sculpting on this layer. The advantage here is that you can go back to the initial layers and you can continue adjusting these sliders in combination to what you already added to the model. The disadvantage here is that the file size may increase dramatically, especially if you keep adding a lot of new layers. The second approach to this is you can bake all the layers by hitting Bake All, but this will get rid of all the layers, so you no longer will have access to these initial layers. But the big advantage here is that the file size will be a lot smaller. So if you would like to keep your file size to the minimum, you just bake all the layers and you can sculpt right on the model now. So if you have any questions about this Basemesh model, please comment below and I will be happy to answer. Thank you for watching.